Namaste. So today I'm going to read Book 10, Chapter 12, on the antidote of Savarni Manu in the Maha Devi Bhagavatam. Om Bhakratu Namakaya Kodisura. Hari Om Tat Sat. The Muni said, O king, the powerful Asura Mahesa, born of a she-buffalo, defeated all the Devas and became the lord of the whole universe. The indomitable Danava seized forcibly all the rights of the Devas and began to enjoy the pleasures of the kingdom over the three worlds. The Devas, thus defeated, were expelled from their abodes in heaven. They took Brahma as their leader and went to the excellent regions where Mahadeva and Vishnu resided and informed them of all that had been done by the vicious Asura Mahesa. They said, O Deva of the Devas, the insolent Maheshasura has become unbearable, and he has taken possessions of the rights and properties of the whole host of the Devas, and he is now enjoying them. Both of you are quite capable to destroy the Asura. So why do you not devise means to annihilate him in no time? Hearing these pitiful words of the Devas, Bhagavan Vishnu became quite indignant. Shankara, Brahma, and the other Devas all were inflamed with anger. O king, from the face of the angry Hari then emanated an unusual fire, brilliant like 1,000 suns. Then by and by emanated fires also from the bodies of all the Devas, who were filled then with joy. From the mass of fire thus emanated there came out a beautiful female figure. The face of this figure was formed out of the fire that emanated from the body of Mahadeva. Her hairs were formed out of the fire of Yama, and her arms were formed out of the fire that emanated from Vishnu. O king, from the fire of the moon came out the two breasts. From the fire of Indra came out her middle portion. From the fire of Varuna appeared her loins and thighs. From the fire of earth, her hips were formed. From the fire of Brahma, her feet were formed. From the fire of the sun, her toes were formed. From the fire of the Vasus, her fingers were formed. From Kuvera's fire, her nose came out. From the excellent Tejas of Prajapati, teeth. From the fire of Agni, her three eyes. From the fire of the twilights, her eyebrows. And from the fire of Vayu, her ears appeared. O Lord of men, thus Bhagavati Mahesa Mardini was born of the Tejas, fairy substances of the Devas. Next, Shiva gave her the Sula weapon spear. Vishnu gave Sudarshana chakra. Varuna gave the conch shell. Fire gave Shakti weapon. Vayu gave her bows and arrows. Indra gave her thunderbolt and the bell of the elephant Aryavata. Yama gave her the destruction staff, Kaladanda. Brahma gave her the Rudraksha, rosary, and Kamandalu. The sun gave her in every pore the wonderful rays. The time, Kala, gave her sharp axe and shield. The oceans gave her the beautiful necklace and new clothes, 2 in number. Vishwakarma gladly gave her the crown, earrings, Kataka, Angada, Chandrarda, tinklets, and the Himalayas gave her the lion as her vehicle and various gems and jewels. Kuvera, the lord of wealth, gave her the cup filled with the drink. Bhagavan Ananta Deva gave her a necklace of snakes, Naghara. Thus the world mother, the Devi, became honored by all the Devas. The Devas, very much oppressed by Maheshasura, then chanted various hymns and praise to the world mother, Maheshwari Mahadevi. Hearing their stotras, the Deveshi, worshipped by the Devas, shouted aloud the war cry. O King Maheshasura, startled at the war cry, came to Bhagavati with all his army corps. Then that great Asura, Mahesa, hurled various weapons in the air and overcast the sky with them and began to fight with great skill. The several generals, Chiksura, Dhurdara, Durmukha, Vaskala, Tamraka, Viralaksa, and various other innumerable generals, as if death incarnate, accompanied Mahesa, the chief Danava. A fierce fight then ensued. Then the Devi, who enchants all the beings, became red-eyed with anger and began to kill the generals of the angry party. When the generals were killed, one by one, Maheshasura, skilled in the science of magic, came up quickly to the front of the Devi. The lord of the Danavas then, by his magic power, began to assume various forms. Bhagavati too began to destroy those forms. Then the Daitya, the crusher of the Devas, assumed the form of a buffalo and began to fight. The Devi then fastened the animal, the Asura, the death of the Devas, tightly and cut off his head by her axe. The remainder of his forces then fled away in terror and disorder with a loud cry. The Devas became very glad and began to chant hymns to the Devi. O King, thus the Lakshmi Devi appeared to kill Maheshasura. Now I will describe how Saraswati appeared. Listen. Once on a time, the two very powerful Daityas, Shumba and Nisumba, were born. They attacked the Devas, oppressed them, and seized their houses and rights. The Devas became disposed of their kingdoms and went to the Himalayas and offered stotras to the Devi with the greatest devotion. O Devesi, O thou skilled in removing the difficulties of the bhaktas, victory to thee. O thou, the sunless one, old age and death cannot touch thee. O thou, death incarnate to the Danavas, O Deveshi. O thou, O mighty valor and prowess. O thou, the embodiment of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesa, unbounded is thy might. Thou canst be easily reached by the power of devotion. O thou, the creator, preserver and destroyer. O Mahadevi, O thou, the giver of bliss, thou dancest with great joy at the time of the dissolution of all the things. Pralaya, O thou, full of mercy, O Deva Devesi, be gracious unto us, O thou, the remover of the sufferings of the refugees. We now come unto thy protection. The terror of Shumba and Nishumba is like an endless ocean unto us. Save us from their fast clutches. O Devi, save us, O King, verily. When the Devas praised thus the daughter of the Himalayas, Bhagavati became pleased and asked, what is the matter? In the meanwhile, there emitted from the physical sheath of the Devi another Devi, Kausiki, who gladly spoke to the Devas. O Suras, I am pleased with thy stotra. Now ask the boon that you desire. The Devas then asked for the following boon. O Devi, the two famous Daityas, Shumba and Nishumba, have attacked forcibly the three worlds. The wicked lord of the Danavas, Shumba, has overcome us by the power of his arm and is now tormenting us without any break. Kindly devise some means to kill him. The Devi said, O Devas, be patient. I will kill these two Daityas, Shumba and Nishumba, and thus remove the thorn on your way. At an early date, I will do good to you. Thus saying to Indra and the other Devas, the merciful Devi disappeared at once before their eyes. The Deva, with their hearts delighted, went to the beautiful Sumeru mountain and dwelt there in the caves thereof. Here the servants of Shumba and Nishumba, Chandan Munda, while they were making their circuits, saw the exquisitely beautiful Devi, the enchantress of the world, and came back to Shumba, their king and said, O destroyer of enemies, O giver of honor, O great king, you are the Lord of all the dechas and are fit to enjoy all the gems and jewels. Today we have seen an extraordinary beautiful woman jewel. She is fit to be enjoyed by you, so now you would better bring that perfectly beautiful woman and enjoy. No such enchanting woman can be seen amongst the Asura women, Naga Kanyas, Gandharva women, Danavis or men. Hearing thus the words of the servant, Shumba, the tormentor of the foes, sent a Decha named Sugriva as a messenger to her. The messenger went to the Devi as early as possible and spoke to her all that Shumba had told him. O Devi, the Asura Shumba is now the conqueror of the three worlds and respected by the Devas, O Devi. He is now enjoying all that is best, the gems and jewels. O Devi, I am his messenger, sent here to convey to you his message as follows. O Devi, I am the sole enjoyer of all the jewels. O beautiful-eyed, you are a gem, so you would worship me, O fair one. All the gems and jewels that are in the Deva Loka, in the Decha Loka, or amongst the regions of men are under my control. So you would lovingly worship me. The Devi said, O messenger, through that you are speaking for your king, but I made a promise before. How can I act against it? O messenger, hear what I promised. Whoever in the three worlds will conquer me by sheer force and thus crush my vanity, whoever will be as strong as myself, he can enjoy me. So the king of Dechas can prove my promise true, and by sheer force can marry me. What is there with him that he cannot do? So messenger, go back to your master and tell him all this, so that the powerful Shumba may fulfill my promise. Hearing thus the words of the great Devi, the messenger went back to Shumba and informed him everything regarding the Devi's saying. The very powerful lord of the Dechas, Shumba, became very angry at the unpleasant words of the messenger and commanded the Decha named Dhumraksa, O Dhumraksa, listen to my words with great attention. Go and catch hold of that wicked woman by her hairs and bring her to me. Go quickly, do not delay. Thus commanded the very powerful and the best of the Dechas, Dhumraksha, went at once to the Devi with 60,000 Dechas and cried aloud to her, O auspicious one, you had better worship quickly our Lord Sumba, who is very powerful and mighty. You will then acquire all sorts of pleasures, else I will hold you by your hairs and take you to the Lord of Dechas. Thus addressed by Dhumraksa, Decha, the enemies of the Devas, the Devi said, O powerful one, O Decha, what you have spoken is perfectly right, but tell me first what you or your king Shumba can do to me. When the Devi said thus, the Decha Dhumralochana rushed on her at once with his arms and weapons. With one loud noise, Maheshwari burnt him immediately to ashes, O king. The other forces were partially crushed by the lion, the vehicle of the Devi, and partly fled away in disorder to all the quarters. Some became senseless out of fear. Shumba, the lord of the Dechas, became very angry to hear this. His face assumed a terrible form with eyebrows contracted. Then he became impatient with anger and sent in order Chanda, Munda and Raktabhija. The three powerful Dechas went to the battle and tried their might to capture the Devi. The Devi, Jagadatri, of violent prowess, seeing that these three Dechas were coming to her, killed them by her trident and laid them prostrate on the ground. Hearing their death with all their army, Shumba and Nishumba came in their own persons arrogantly to the battlefield. Shumba and Nishumba fought for a time with the Devi, a terrible fight, and became tired. When the Devi killed them outright, when the Bhagavati, who is all this world, killed Shumba and Nishumba, the Devas began to praise Bhagavati, the supreme deity of Vak, word, incarnate. O king, thus I have spoken to you in due order the manner in which the beautiful Kali, Mahalakshmi and Saraswati incarnated themselves on the earth. That supreme deity, the Devi, Parameshwari, thus creates, preserves and destroys the universe. You better take refuge of that highly adored Devi. That causes the distinction and the delusion of this universe. Then only you will attain success, Narayana said. The king, Suratha, hearing these beautiful words of the Muni, took refuge of the Devi that yields all desired objects. He built an earthen image of the Devi and with concentrated attention, though wholly of the Devi, and began to worship her with devotion. When the worship was over, he offered sacrifices of the blood of his body to the Devi. Then the world mother, the deity of the Devas, became pleased and appeared before him and asked him, accept the boon that you desire. When the Devi said thus, the king asked from the Maheshwari that excellent knowledge whereby the ignorance is destroyed, and as well the kingdom free from any dangers or difficulties. The Devi said, O king, by my boon you will get your fullest kingdom in this very birth, as well as the Janam that removes ignorance. O king, I will tell you also what you will be in the next birth. Here in your next birth you will be the son of the sun and be famous as Savarni Manu. By my boon you will be the lord of the Manvantara, become very powerful, and you will get good many sons. Thus granting him this boon, the Devi disappeared. By the grace of the Devi, Surata became the lord of the Manvantara. O Sadhu, thus I have described to you the birth and deeds of Savarni. He who hears or reads this antidote with devotion will be a favorite of the Devi. Here ends the 12th chapter of the 10th book on the antidote of Savarni Manu in the Mahapuranam Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Ved Vyasa. Jayanti Mangala. Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.